we are going to discuss today what consciousness is. Consciousness, that is all what there is. The first stage is that is which is nirguna nirakar. No shape, no volume, no physical chemical qualities, but having the potential of all qualities. Next stage, it starts to manifest itself. It starts to manifest itself in abstract form. It means that is vibrations. It converts into vibrations. In vibrations, now frequencies start to change. Like we know that 18 to 20 to 20,000 frequencies per second. This is human audible range. Less than this and more than this, we cannot hear, but it exists. It means that perceivable vibrations are a range. This is a range, what we can hear. But rest of the range is in existence and have an effect on us, but it is not audible. And this quality of consciousness, which is called vibration, gradually frequency increases. Then different frequencies are named differently. Electromagnetic field, light, radio waves and all that. Now, these frequencies, as we know, we feel it like sound. We study it like electromagnetic waves, radio waves, and when it is condensed, as a very important text Sharda Tilak says, ध्वनि घनीभूत होकर बिंदु रूप में परिवर्तित होती है. Means condensed form of sound converts into point value. Point value means now this unmanifested value starts converting itself into manifested values. Now, this manifested value, which is made up of basic 5 elements and multiplied by its various combinations, they are, in physics it is like a periodic table, and in Srishti, in creation, we know that this has many variations. Sthavar Jangam Jagat. One which is static, another which is moving. So now the manifested values, they manifest itself into various forms. And how they convert into various forms? These are the coding in the nature, and those codings are called natural laws. So various types of natural laws. Like we know the law of inertia, we know law of motion, we know E is equal to MC square. So there are many types of formulas we know. In Vedic science, this formula, in STHAPATYA VED, these formulas are coded in the form of Vastu Purush Mandalas. Vastu Purush Mandalas are the imprint of these codings in the form of devatas. And devatas, as we know, devata is made up of devadhatu. Dev means light, energy. So all the devatas of Vastu Purush Mandala means side plan. They express different qualities, different physical, chemical qualities of area, and that is calculated as per the distances, as per the proportions, as per the orientation, proportion, distances. There are many methods to calculate it. Now, that is basics expression of macro universe in micro form. The secrets of this knowledge is expressed by the masters to take best benefit of nature, natural laws, by aligning ourselves with the forces, energies, values of natural laws, by aligning ourselves in the location, orientation, with right proportions, right colors, right measurements, with right directions, and right placements. In Vastu means in your structure, in your architecture, in your building, in your accommodation, in the place where you live in. So now, if we try to understand all these energy patterns, then we'll have to understand how sequentially this knowledge develops. So, if we try to understand Vastu Purush Mandalas, in center it is called Brahmisthan. And Brahm is absolute value, which is Nirgun Nirakar, unmanifested. It has the potential to accommodate all sort of natural energies. In ancient times, it was called, in Hindi, it was called Angad. What we say in STHAPATYA VED, Brahmisthan, means central place, Nabhistan. So, and that area, the dimension of that area is calculated as per the dimension of that area, side plan, and there are 32 types of Vastu Purush Mandalas. Means those energies are there as per the quality of that purpose, what we are going to use it for. So now the play of energy, how the nature plays with energy, is depicted or manifested in Vastu Purush Mandalas. When we go deep into it, then we take how sequentially it develops. In central, there is a Brahmisthan. So it is Nirgun Nirakar, non-manifest, unmanifested, in the non-manifested form, right? So it has the potential to accommodate all natural energies. So if your central place of your house is open to sky, then it is the place where all radiations from all 9 planets, of course 7 manifested planets, and quality of those Rahu, Ketu, Mriga's head and tail, accordingly, radiations from all 27 nakshatras, all 12 rashis. So this holistic value, along with magnetic field and combinations of different longitude, latitude, taking care of the reference of location of Earth in reference of Sun. So all these quality changes. And as it changes, and how to utilize it, in what season, in what time, that is the secret of knowledge which is hidden in STHAPATYA VED, Vastu Shastra. So, the beautiful formula, whether it is right or wrong, that is a different thing. How deep it is, how there are so many question answers and arguments on that area. E is equal to MC square, right? But the sequential development of energy happens in this way only. All unmanifested values are manifested, and when unmanifested state is converting into manifested state, it means there are stages. There are stages. And when one unmanifested value converts into manifested value, so this step is called is equal to E is equal to MC square. So what this is equal to means, how this energy transforms itself into material value. So this is equal to is something very interesting. And this is equal to can be called as transcendental value. Anything which converts into matter, any energy which converts into another form of energy. Like in Vibgyor, in when white ray transforms itself while going through the prism, white ray converts into violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, and the lambda changes and the color changes. So this is because that radiation is taking dip into some quality of prism which is responsible to convert this white ray into Vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. It means there is a method, there is a medium, there is a process through which these radiations convert into different physical and chemical qualities. It converts itself into radiations which is having different physical and chemical properties. So now this is on material level. Similarly, if we try to understand that if we have some thought, a very simple thought, maybe very blissful, happy thought, and we just give impulse of that thought, and that thought has a chain reaction. It starts from very small bit of very small thought. You are thinking about your kid, you are thinking about your achievement, you are thinking about something good. It starts from that point value, and then all sequences, all chain of happenings, all events, they start coming into your mind. Then the whole story is formed, you try to visualize it. And the whole point value converts itself into creation of whole story and visualized form, and you start enjoying all those bliss with your kid, with your family, with your parents, with your colleagues, with your nature, with that landscape, everything. So that point value, the good memory of any moment, when you take deep into that, or you take impulse, or any impulse or thought comes, of that memory, gradually it starts manifesting itself into bigger form. So on material value, when white ray goes through the prism, it converts into violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Similarly, when consciousness, a thought comes in our mind, then our mind has some qualities which starts manifesting one point value of thought into whole story, whole visualized, whole bigger on a bigger screen. So what that secret is, wherefrom, through which this point value of thought converts into manifolded thought in the story. So it could look very simple, but if we go deep into it, then the secret is hidden there, that how simple impulses can be converted into bigger form. And now, as we know, that simple thought, that point value, when converts into a big picture, big story, then you have your consciousness fluctuates with all those emotions, all those feelings, what those imagination, what those parts of that story is related with. So you start fluctuating with those feelings, emotions, and accordingly all the juices, all the hormones, all the chemicals, happy hormones, the serotonin and this, all those types of chemicals, they start secreting in your body. So it means, again, like when white ray goes through the prism, it converts itself into various colors. Similarly, we have something there in our consciousness which converts this point value, the thought of point value, into whole creation. And one starts fluctuating with all those variations of thought, variations of consciousness, manifested in different forms of feelings, different forms of emotions, and non-materially, and materially in different form of chemical starts secreting in our body. So see how the chemical changes start taking place just by a thought. All Vedic science is what? All Vedic science is to understand, it is the process of understanding of the whole circle of how unmanifested value manifests itself into manifested values, and how eko aham bahusyami, how one multiplies, one creates, one starts manifest itself into many. So now we must understand that what particular one of the many we want to achieve, we want to get, we want to be from all those many variations of thoughts, what we visualize, what we feel, what we fluctuate with. So if it is good, you are healthy. If it is not good, then you are not healthy. So when it is good, when you are in perfect alliance with natural law, with your body is in perfect alliance magnetically with the area you are living with. It is in perfect alliance with those radiational values which are being provided by the nature from different directions, from different celestial values, from different material values of those planets and constellations and all those things, right? So now we must try to understand again that as white ray goes through a prism and converts itself into different variations, and if we try to catch that particular range of spectrum, suppose you want to catch yellow one, then in that manifested band you'll have to be placed, or you'll have to catch that particular place, particular, and that is calculated when this spectrum is, projected on the screen. Then you know that this range is violet, this is indigo, this is blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So if you try to study, then you focus on that part only. And as in science we know that all different qualities of radiations, they have different physical, chemical properties. So similarly, if we try to catch, we try to enfold, we try to encash, we try to convert that energy into different chemical form, as the various branches of science they tell us. So then we'll have to place, suppose we want to test that particular physical chemical property of that particular radiation, then we'll have to put the machine, that device which tests the range of that particular radiation in that particular area, right, on the band where all these colors are projected. So when your device is placed there, then it is receiving radiations and telling you that this radiation has this physical chemical property and all that. Similarly, because that device is converting that radiation into the study, into the experience. And this is the experience of that device, which tells that these are the physical chemical property of this radiation. Similarly, if our physiology as a device is placed in certain area of the Vastu, then it starts feeling and telling you that these are the physical chemical properties of this radiation which are there at that place at that particular time. So this is how the Vastu Purush Mandala, the energy of that Vastu Purush Mandala has different effect on different physiologies. And as we know in Ayurveda, that every physiology is made up of, different like Saptadhatu, Rasa, Rakta, Mas, Med, Asthi, Macha, Shukra, like we have Vata, Pitta, Kapha quality and all these tissues, all these variations. And what is the definition of a healthy person? Samadosha, Samagnishcha, Samadhatu, Manakriya. Prasanna Atma, Indri Mana, Swastitya, Dadabhirte. Means that when Vata, Pitta and Kapha right proportion, that is called Sam. And Sam is very beautiful word. When Sam is connected with the consciousness, it is called Samadhi. When it is connected with the physiology, the type of physiology, then it tells you Samadosha, Samagnisha. It means Sama. And Samatva, when somebody talks about Ramraj, then it is described that everybody was Samasid. Everybody was established in that Samatva. So Samat is something beautiful, some word. Samat is, which is the perfect state of consciousness on consciousness value, on chemical value, because it is in right proportion, right placement, with the right alignment. It is the result of that. So when it is used for consciousness in perfect state, then it is called Samadhi also. On physical level, this is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Sama. So, the healthy person is Samadosha. All the Vata, Pitta, Kapha should be in Samatva, in orderly state, in right proportion. Samadosha, Samagnish. All type of fire, all type of Agni, all type of energies which are responsible to assimilate, to digest, to transform grosser value into more finer value. That is called Agni. Agni is called Pavak. It purifies. That means all grosser level of material is turned into more refined value. And grosser goes away from our body, and finer values are absorbed in our body. So Samadosha, Samagniya, Samadhatu, all 7 types of dhatus, Rasa, Rakta, Masa, Meta, Asti, Mancha, Shubra. So Samadosha, Samagnesha, Samadhatu, all the digestive system. So these are all material values. When all material values are in order, then you are physically healthy. But in Vedic science, in Ayurveda, if everything on material level is in order, that doesn't make you healthy. Another line says, Samadosha, Samagnisha, Samdhatu, Malakriya. Another line says, Prasanna Atma, Indriya Mana, Swasthatya Vidiyate. Means, Swastha, Prasanna Atma. When Atma means that consciousness which is responsible to keep your all material level, body level, physiological level healthy. That is called Atma, Prasanna Atma. Indriya, all types of Indriyas, Gyanendriyas, 5 and 5 Karmendriyas. Prasanna Atma, Indriya, Mana. Man is the controlling force. That energy which controls is Man eva manushyanam karanam moksha. Means Man, which is the guiding force, which is the commanding force. If it is in command, everything is in order. If it is not in command, then you become slave of that. But if you command the mind, you are the master of situations, master of all happenings, master of all doing, and master of being also. So commanding the mind means not by force command the mind. If by force you will command the mind, it will start behaving in the opposite manner or revolting manner, or responding in different ways. But when you are in perfect alliance with natural law, when things start happening as a being, then you are not commanding the mind. Mind is very spontaneously, Yogastha Guru Karmani, when you are established in alliance with that natural law, with that absolute, then Yogastha Guru Karmani. Then when your consciousness, your mind is aligned with that beautiful consciousness, totality, holistic value, then what happens? Spontaneously, everything becomes orderly. Whatever you wish to become, whatever desire, impulse emerges, it is fulfilled. And it has to be nourishing to nature. It won't hurt nature. So, very spontaneously, your consciousness will start functioning in such a way that you don't do anything. Everything happens. That is science of being. Everything starts happening because if we try to study all plants around us, So when you sow a seed, everything happens spontaneously, and if it is in perfect alliance with natural law, in perfect alliance with all those forces which are responsible for creation. So when they are in perfect alliance, then at the right time rain comes, at right time different type of sun comes, at right time all those winds, all types of airs, Chale Marut Unjas, all 49 types of energies, winds, quality of air, all these things are present. And when everything, not only individual, but when individual starts coming in alliance with that natural law, that consciousness which is responsible to run the universe, then, like in Ramaraj, it is said that whenever you wish, things started happening. So when it is in a state of Ramaraj, then everything happens ideally, because everything in Samasid, everything is established in that perfect harmony with totality. So similarly, how this consciousness works, when yogastha kuru karmani, when this consciousness is in perfect alliance with natural law, then everything happens orderly, perfectly, holistically, nicely, without creating any side effects, without creating any byproduct on consciousness level or manifested level. So a person lives with perfectly, wholly, with that totality. And that is Vastu Purush Mandalas. Vastu Purush Mandalas, when we divide the place into various proportions, various parts. There are 32 types of Vastu Purush Mandalas. And these pattern of energies, they are used for different purposes, in different directions, in different timings, for different persons. So, as per the physical chemical quality, these different locations of Vastu Purush Mandala or side plan or your building, they give different effects on different times. So when we are thinking to achieve something, then if we know that this is the place best for this purpose, best to goal this, achieve this goal, then this is the best place. So accordingly, those things are, suppose we want to meditate properly, coolly, then of course we require such an atmosphere, such a surrounding, which is where all the atoms of nature are not in very high temperature, it is not hammering your physiology, bombing your physiology like anything. So when it is in such a state, such a position where rising sun is giving very cool, healthy, those radiations are making your liver strong, because as we know that if newly born baby starts suffering from jaundice, then these modern doctors, they ask you to expose their child in that rising sun, and then jaundice is cured. It means that radiation from rising sun has the quality, and that is non-material value, and that has the quality to create some chemicals in the physiology, because those chemicals then manifested value, which is coming from that radiation of rising sun, that non-material value converts into some material value, that is chemical, which is making your liver strong. So if we are in perfect alliance that time, in that direction, then all good things will start happening in our physiology. Our liver will start becoming strong. And when liver is strong, then your digestion is strong. When your digestion is strong, then all the rasas and all the carrier of oxygen you breathe, and oxygen goes into your lungs, oxyhemoglobin is formed, and then it goes to different cells and nourishes it properly. So, when you are in perfect alliance with natural law, in Vastu Purush Mandala, means in different time, in different location, for different purposes, for different achievement of a particular goal, you require certain chemistry in your physiology. So as per the requirement, as per the goal, as per the action, if we locate ourselves in the right and proper location, then we are in perfect alliance with natural law. Then the purpose we are there for, suppose we are there for meditation, or we are there for dining, or we are ready to sleep, or we are ready to study, or whatever particular activity we want to engage in. So if we are located, or if we put ourselves into right placement in that Vastu, with that right proportion, with those right colors, with those right interiors, all those things, then we are in perfect alliance with those natural laws, those radiations. We are in perfect alliance with physical chemical properties of those radiations. Then our body creates all those things which are ideal for that particular purpose, for that action, for that goal. And when everything is in perfect order, then of course it's but obvious, it's very natural, then your body, mind-body coordination, your intelligence, your memory, everything is in perfect order. So you think rightly, you plan rightly, then you execute it directly. Then of course, as a byproduct, as a result, your action, right action converts in right proportion, right time, in right manner. If it is done, then it converts into ideal and perfect result. So this is how consciousness, if aligned properly, because body is a tool, your thought converts into action, action converts into result. And we must have seen all very good cricket players, the same very good cricket player, that particular player, now it is said he is in very good form. Now he is not in very good form. Why? The person who knows the technique, how to play, which ball should be played and hit in that particular manner. This is called this shot, this is called that shot. And the player has a very good history, all those big records. But why it happens that sometimes that particular player is unable to perform? Because those radiations, which are called dashas, mahadashas, antardasha, pratyantardasha, sukshma dasha, pranadasha, all these variations of energies which are received by the physiology of that particular player in particular time, in particular longitude, latitude, or particular longitude, latitude, then body starts functioning naturally according to that. And we say that he is not in form. Now he is not in proper form, so that's why he is unable to play. So whether selection of the team in the team should be done or not, and it is done according to that. So if we think it deeply, then what is the reason? What are the reasons that the same player who was performing well and who has tons of records, but why he's unable to play properly? So these are the secrets of various branches of Vedic science. Why that particular player is not in form? Because of the period in which the player is going through. Number one. Number two, it might be that in horoscope it is not that particular period or the quality of radiations because of which the player is performing in bad form. Maybe that period is right, but the vastu, the place in the building in which that particular player is living is not permitting physiology of that particular player to receive those radiations. Like if we put a compass, the needle goes in north. But if we put a bigger magnetic object in front of compass, then it will affect the movement of energy, and your needle of compass will go in different direction. It means that magnet, that bigger magnet or bigger iron is hindrance, obstruction in stopping the physiology of that particular player in being in alliance with that natural law, those natural qualities of radiations. And like the needle of compass is affected and moving differently, similarly, because our body is full of chemicals, full of magnetic rich elements and iron and these, all those metals. We have so many metals in our body. So now, if we are not aligned properly, then all those things are affected negatively or positively. So when it is not there in your horoscope, but a person is not in good form, then we must try to analyze that. Like a player, everybody, if not in that period of horoscope, whether it's a right period or wrong period, or whether after too much effort, right results are not coming, but the horoscope says that the period is good, it means that period is good. But why period is good? Because all those planets and everything is there in perfect order. All those radiations are in perfect order, which are good for that particular person. But apart that particular person who is not performing well, after even having good combinations of yogas in the horoscope, it means, because yoga means that in transition all those planets are in good direction, good degrees, so that effect of those radiations should give right results through that physiology. But if it is being affected, it means that those radiations are not able to expose that body properly. Why? Because that is not located, placed, or kept properly in the vastu. Right? So it means the body is not getting those radiations after having even good combinations in horoscope. If a person is not performing well, it means he is not placed rightly, his angles and colors and placement and location is not right That's why all those radiations are like morning sun. If you have no eastern wall, dead wall, or no windows in north, northeast, and east, it means whether you are living in that room, but you won't receive that early morning sun's radiation, which keeps the liver healthy. So if it is like that, then what will happen? If in transition the combinations are not good for liver, then combination in the horoscope is not good, and you are unable to receive radiations from northeast because your eastern wall and northern wall is completely closed, no windows, no doors. So during the period where your horoscope is not being supported properly for liver, this is one factor. And another factor, that the radiations are not coming from your direction, different directions of that house. So you won't get support of natural law, and your liver will start worsening itself, right? So similarly, those locations are important, those radiations are important, and in which proportion. Like if it is in summer and 48-degree temperature is outside, and you have very big window in south and southwest, number of windows in south and southwest. So what will happen? That area will start creating heat waves. Naturally, that area will become more a pitta prominent, more acidic prominent. So what happens? That if a person is there in summers, then the person who is a vata prominent or pitta prominent or kapha prominent, they'll start giving results differently there. The person whose pitta agni fire is already high and he is placed in that room, southwest room, which is exposed by big windows in south-southwest corner, if that hot 45, 46, 47, 48 temperature is exposing your body, then the acidic value, pitta level, anxiety level, it will grow. And because of this, blood pressure, insomnia, anxiety, depression, all those negative happen. So if we take care of that what type of the quality, what type of qualities are there, in which location, in which direction, then we can make ourselves more adaptable, more healthy, because then we'll keep ourselves understanding our physiology, physical, chemical properties of physiology. We will place ourselves in right direction, in right placement, with right color, with right interiors, and right place in Vastu. And it will sustain our body in more healthy, wealthy, blissful state, right? And will Sankar Patri say that when we take some impulse or resolution, then everything is in order, so our input is perfect. And when our input is perfect, then Gita says, Karmaneva Mahaphaleshu Kadachana. It doesn't mean that don't think for result. It says that the results are very much there in right karma. So when your input is right, then output has to be right, perfect. Because this is natural law. Every action has a reaction and same and opposite. But here, opposite means not opposite. Here, in law of karma means when you think, your thought is very strong. When you try to execute that thought, that process of execution is strong. Performing that action is strong. Perfect, imperfect, aligned with the natural law. Then what happens? Like law of this thing says, every action has same and opposite action. But here, same action, right action, have the result. It is not necessarily that it is going to be the same and equal and opposite reaction. No. It will have certain right input will be converted into right action. Right action will convert itself into right result. So it is not necessarily that every action has same and opposite reaction, but the amount of input you put in, the same amount in same proportion will be converted into its result. So this sequential development, this process, this mathematical formula, that putting this effort rightly at right place while performing, being in perfect alliance with the law, yoga karmani, the result has to be perfect. It will start happening or giving you result in material value, in manifested value. So this is sequential manifestation, sequential development of knowledge, impulse, action, and result. This is a sequence. Anything happens through our physiology like this. So if we are in perfect alliance, in perfect placement, with perfect proportion, with perfect dimensions, then our body is in perfect alliance with natural law, and we think perfectly, we plan perfectly, we execute perfectly, and we get the right result perfectly. So this is the role of consciousness, putting consciousness in right way, in right place, in right manner. Then what happens? The result will be perfect. It is natural law. So this is the role of consciousness. This is the in Vastu, and role of Vastu in playing, in modifying consciousness into good thought, action, and result. So this is interrelationship with the consciousness of the location of Vastu, and as per the good interaction, as per being in perfect alliance with that location, proportion, color, dimensions, this consciousness converts into right thought, action, and result. So this is the perfect relation between consciousness and Vastu. So this is the basics, these are the fundamental, this is the theory, which tells us how macro universe manifests itself into micro universe, and that micro universe is manifested by the Vastu Purush Mandala of different types. So now this is how nature converts itself into matter, action, and results. Now there are different devatas, different types of energy known Vastu Purush Mandalas of Vastu Purush Mandala. So now step by step, if you want to go deep into it, then we'll try to understand what devata, what orientation, what placement has what quality. And all these qualities are named by different devatas. And as I told you, devata is made up of devadhatu, and dev is energy, light. So now we will try to understand each portion of Vastu Purush Mandala, its physical and chemical qualities, how we can take benefit of it, being in perfect alliance with that qualities described in Vastu Purush Mandalas. So sequentially, we will start from first devata and gradually on different devatas, which will tell us what devata has what quality and how to utilize those qualities to gain perfect results. Right? So this is how Vastu is related with consciousness. how Vastu affects the consciousness, and if we know the secret, then we know how the thought, good thought, perfect thought, thought which is in alliance with the actual law, converts itself into perfection, action, and perfect result. Jai Guru Dev.